The Zondo Commission of Inquiry into state capture has heard testimony today that ANC Member of Parliament Vytie Mentor did tell someone how she had met with a member of the Gupta family back in 2010 and had then been offered a position in cabinet. Former ANC MP Dennis Bloem explained how Mentor had told him in confidence about what happened. The Commission also heard from an architect today. It's decided the head of the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, McBride, will now testify on Monday. The Commission says it wants to inform those who he will implicate before he takes to the stand. Dennis Bloem today told the Commission how Vytie Mentor explained what happened to her in 2010.
She said this person was offering her the position of a minister of public service, public enterprises minister. That is what she was telling me.
Bloem testifying today. Mzwandile Mbeje, our reporter, back in the Commission in Parktown in Johannesburg. Mzwandile, good evening to you. I mean, this evidence from Bloem, it seems to corroborate at least a part of Vytie Mentor's version.
Oh, well, that's true. But maybe, Steve, let me just correct something very quickly. McBride is not necessarily testifying on Monday. It's a date yet to be determined. Okay. Yes, so I just want us to get over that one. Yes, because he basically saying, remember, at the time, he was a former MP. And then apparently they had grown in terms of working relationship very close together. So that's the person who she told about this offer that came from the Guptas. And I think that's one thing perhaps that was somehow corroborated, so to speak.
At the same time, there's an architect from the Department of Public Works, and we'll look at her testimony. I mean, she seemed to say that Mentor's description of the Gupta compound series of houses complex in Saxonwell doesn't actually make sense. Let's have a look at what she had to say today.
10 steps were identified, not the 5 or 6 steps as Mentor remembered. And she could also not remember the column bases or the pedestals on top of the staircase with the columns on top of the pedestals.
Vytie testifying earlier today. Mzwandile, I mean, part of Mentor's issue, or part of the problems that she's faced, is corroborating her evidence. So we've got Dennis Bloem supporting her. We have an architect who seems to be almost weakening her evidence.
Well, I mean, you know, the sum total of her evidence is that none of the features that were mentioned by Ms. Mentor were found at the house. And besides that, Steve, I mean, when they went there to the house, because they were standing outside, apparently she struggled to point the house. And then, I mean, according to the architect, saying that she settled for house number 5. That's when they got in. And then basically, but nothing that she had said in the commission was really corroborated. And when the judge really asked to say, but was there any of the features? And then the answer was a definite no.
Okay, so I mean, a lot for the Commission to look at there. Let's just talk about Robert McBride for a minute. The head of IPID, there's a battle between him and the police minister at the moment, but he's now going to testify, as you say, at the sort of unspecified date. Yeah. Are we expecting him to implicate a lot of people?
Absolutely, Steve. I think the reason why he actually did not go ahead, because it transpired that there are so many people. In fact, they said about 30 people who will be implicated. So, and these are, some of them are high-profile people. These are professionals, and then who would need to have their side of the story. So, given that it will implicate so many people, and remember, so if you're implicated, Steve, there, you must. I think the Commission must write to you so that you can give a response. So, as a result, that commission, that evidence was postponed so that everyone that is implicated, the Commission can write to. But it does appear it's going to be explosive.
Mzwandile Mbeje, thank you very much indeed. All right, more to come, of course, in that commission.